Welcome. Today's training is going to be covering how to transfer your CreateSpace book to the KDP Print Platform. So it's not going to be setting up a book individually or by itself on KDP. This training will be specifically for how to transfer from your book that's already published on CreateSpace over to the KDP Print Platform. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on this option here for Paperback, and that's how we're going to start. So basically, as you can see here, I've already logged in to my KDP platform, and you have the choices of either publishing a Kindle book here or a paperback here. So we will click here to start. Alrighty, let's move this over so everybody can see. So basically the first thing here, before we get into this, what I've done is I've saved all the important information from my book on CreateSpace and pasted it into a text file, so I can simply just copy it and paste it into all of these different pages here in our setup. It'll just be easier doing that than going back and forth. So the first thing that we're going to do is choose the language. So my book is in English, but you also have the choice of choosing the language that your book is in here. So I will go ahead and choose English. The book title is next, and the subtitle, so I will find that there. So I'll just copy this here and paste it here. So obviously this is a pretty large title because the subtitle is included. So I will cut it, paste it in here, and take out the colon there. All right. So the next thing is the series. So if you have a series of books, you have the option here to put in what number book that is in the series. The next one is edition. Same thing. You'd put 1 if this is your first edition, 2 if it's the second, and so forth. For the author, you want to make sure that the information here is exactly the same on your book cover. You don't want to have something a little bit different, or there's going to be a red flag from KDP. So go ahead and enter your name there, and I've got an initial in mine, and my last name. Alrighty then. Now the next is contributors. So if you co-authored a book, this is an option here to add additional contributors. And the next one is description. So I have already pasted that into a text file. So what I'll do is I'm going to paste this in here. Now this is the first time I've actually done this here in this platform. I've got a bunch of HTML in here. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I will try it out and see what happens. Okay. The next part of this setup is copyright and public domain. So if you are the original copyright or the original creator of your work, then basically it's your copyright. So you hold all the necessary publishing rights. Now, if this was a public domain, so if you are republishing something in the public domain, obviously then you would have to click that little radio button there. The next step are keywords. So this is somewhat important to have. It has a lot to do with the type of categories that you can also set up. So in my case, it's not really important. I mean, I have an older book and I'm not really pushing it or marketing it, but I still have some keywords that I've used. So I will find those keywords over here and then just paste them in. Let's see. Go with that. Go with that. this. Do some of this. Let's see, go with some of this. Let's do a little bit of this. And let's see what else. Let's go for this. All right. What else we got in here? Let's just do this. Let's put in niche market. Okay. The next section will be categories. So here we have the choice only of picking 2 browse categories. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's choose nonfiction. Let's choose business and economics. Let's go with e-commerce. Go with internet marketing. Then I need to pick another. So let's pick. Business communication. Nah. How about so just bear with me here. So we got that one, but what else do we want? I guess we could do. Let's go with computers. Computers and internet or something like that. But I don't see. Okay, there we go. There's internet. And we'll just go for general. Guess we can go with that for right now, and let's go ahead and save it. So now what many authors don't know, and even publishers, is that you can actually add a total of 10 categories, or what we call browse categories. These are browse categories. So after you print or you publish your book, you have the option of coming back and either going through KDP or go through Author Central and requesting an additional 8 categories or browse paths. Amazon doesn't give you the ability to do that when you set up. They only give you the option for 2. So like I said, you can come back later after you publish and send in like a support request and add these additional categories. And basically what this will do is help you in your ranking on Amazon. So obviously you'll have to put your book wherever it fits appropriately within the categories. You don't obviously want to choose a category that it doesn't have anything to do with your book. Okay, the next thing is adult content. So if your book has adult content in it, then you'd have to say yes. And if it's not, then obviously you would put no. The next part of this is CreateSpace Books. So have you previously published this book on CreateSpace? Yes, we have. So go ahead and pick that right there. So we'll go ahead and hit save and continue. All right, the next step, this is the part that I know many authors are kind of a little hesitant in doing, because it's basically do this and there's no way of going back. But no worries. So basically this message, and I'll read it out loud so that you can read along and understand what this is. So republishing this book on KDP will disable it on CreateSpace and cannot be reversed. Your book will be available throughout this process, i.e. you will not lose any sales. KDP doesn't currently support expanded distribution. If this feature is important to you, we don't recommend republishing this book on KDP at this time. If you continue, you will be redirected to log into your CreateSpace account to verify your ownership of this title. You will then be returned here to continue setting up your title. After verification, we will transfer your CreateSpace Books metadata and book files. The paperback details section, page 1, will be updated with your CreateSpace metadata. Several fields won't be editable because they are required to match your 13-digit ISBN to comply with industry standards. And then it goes on to say verify ownership and permanently republish this book on KDP. So basically what it's saying is that if you're, at the undecided decision, you're at that, decision process of deciding if expanded distribution is important to you. If it's not, then that's one reason why you can move forward, because expanded distribution is not offered yet through KDP Print. However, that will probably soon change, as many of the options that were available on CreateSpace are becoming available on KDP Print. So it's just a matter of time that everything basically, that the same things are options on each platform. The other part of this is basically it's saying if you do this, you can't go back. So you can't, let's say you publish on KDP and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, I want to go back. You can't go back. When you do it, that's it. And really, there's really not anything to worry about. I mean, because KDP Print, the writing has been on the wall for about 1.5 years or more. CreateSpace is no longer provides its services. Their community or their forum is not being taken care of by moderators, CreateSpace moderators. Obviously, this program, KDP Print, is still in beta. So all this basically points in the direction of everything basically being done through this platform. So I would, there's really nothing to worry about. I would just put in the information here and then just move forward. So it's asking here for the 13-digit ISBN. So let's say you don't have your 13-digit ISBN. Let's say you have a 10-digit ISBN. Well, you'll need to convert that to a 13. So basically, you can Google ISBN converter and then click on that link, and it will have an option where you basically can paste in the 10-digit ISBN, click a button, and it'll convert it to a 13-digit ISBN. So that's how you can do it if you don't have your 13-digit ISBN. I have mine over here, so I will simply copy it if I find it. Okay. And once we put this in here, then we're going to have the option to move forward. Okay. Or maybe not. So probably, okay, so this is not highlighting, so probably because I don't have the right hyphens. The hyphens aren't in the right place. So let's see. Okay, so it just took a couple minutes to get through, so I had to put in the hyphens for it to be recognized. So now the next thing is just to click the button. It's time to move forward. So I know some authors will be uncomfortable with this, but it's time to move forward. So go ahead and click continue. And what this will do is it will do what it's saying there. It'll take us to the CreateSpace website. It'll verify my title there. And since I think I must have already been logged in to CreateSpace. So if you hadn't been logged into CreateSpace, what it would do is you would have had to enter in your username and password, and then it would send you back here directly. So it did this automatically without even you seeing the login, the CreateSpace login. So as you can see here now, information has been basically transferred over. So as well as the metadata, which is like the title information and the trim size and all this stuff, you can see it, how it's been transferred over. And the important thing here is that it says the title ownership has been verified. So successful transfer over of files has transpired here. All right, so let's just scroll down and just see what has been transferred over, which is pretty much everything. So, so we're at this point right here. So what has happened now is that these, the interior file and the book cover have successfully moved over and have been transferred. So you don't need to re-upload your interior file here, nor do you have to upload your book cover because they've already been transferred over. You use basically the same files that were used over in CreateSpace. So here it was successfully transferred over, as you can see here, uploaded successfully. And then the same thing here, the cover has been uploaded successfully. Now, if it's been uploaded successfully, you may even be lucky to see your book cover. So there you go. The book cover has popped up into my display here. So I think everything looks fine at this point. There may be a comment down here that looks like changes were made, but that's normal. Let's see. I think everything is good here. So what I'll do is I'll launch the previewer to take a look at the book. Of course, it says my screen size is too small. Okay, that's not a problem because we're just obviously making a recording of this. We have detected that your screen size is less than 1200 pixels by 600 pixels. We suggest resizing your window. That's okay. We'll continue. And basically, it's going to go through a couple conversions here. Oh, wow, that was fast. With the last book I did, it took a little while. So basically, this is just going to give you the opportunity to look at your book and see if everything looks okay. And then you'll have a couple little notes over here. Let's read them. Okay, so everything is checked. No quality issues there. Let's see here. So everything has moved over okay. All right, so then basically you can flip through the book and see how it looks. And it looks basically the same as it was when it was on CreateSpace. And as you can see, I wrote this in 2008, and when they say self-publish, this is self-published. Made some, some typesetting mistakes and everything, but I just went ahead and did it. And surprise, surprise, it was a bestseller for about 15 months. So it did pretty well. Okay, so I think we're fine here. I'm going to say it looks fine. Go ahead and hit approve. Alrighty. So I'm going to scroll back down. So there we go. So now this is the cost of what it would take to print the book. So on CreateSpace, it cost me $4.54, and here on KDP, it's $4.55. So it's 1 cent more, so not a big deal. So there's not really going to be much change between CreateSpace and KDP. It's run by the same company, Amazon. They're using the same equipment. So when I hear of authors saying the quality is different and everything like that, there's really no difference. You're just using just a different platform on the internet, basically. Okay, so let's see here. So you have the choice now to see what it is, how much it is in different markets. So it'll be not how much it will be, but the cost of printing your book. It would be £3.78, £3.78 in UK, and so forth and so on. So it shows you the cost of how much the production cost or author copies would be for your book. All right. So let's just save and continue. All right, let's move this over so you can see it. I believe this might be the last page in our setup. Yeah, look at that, publish your book. So what's our next step? So this one here says territories. It says select the territories for which you hold distribution rights. So if you hold the copyright for the book, basically it's worldwide rights. So that's why it's at default, you have that there. For whatever reason, if you had like individual copyrights in individual territories, you'd click this and it'd give you a choice of choosing what territories. But in most cases, if this is a paperback book, you're going to have basically all rights, distribution rights, and so you will pick the option there for all territories. All right. The next thing is pricing and royalty. Do I remember what I did in the CreateSpace? So basically, this is your chance to put in the list price for what you want to sell it on Amazon. So this is a high value book. So my list price I had for this book was $39.95. So I will type in $39.95. Oops. Okay. So now what it's going to do here is it's going to tell you basically it's going to calculate for you how much your royalties will be. So it shows you that you're going to be paying $4.55 for printing and the 60% royalty rate. And so the total money that you'll get per unit, at least for this book, is $19.42 per unit. So obviously, if you go down, so you can only there's a minimum that you can allow, right? So if you were to put, let's say, the book here at $7 like this, then it's going to say no, you can't do that. The minimum is $7.58. So in order to make a profit, because obviously you're paying, you're not literally paying for it out of your pocket, but there's a cost to printing the book. Okay, so that's in there, and then so you have to put in a price, obviously, that's going to justify all that. So in 2008, this is what I priced my book at. Okay, so let's put that in there. All right, and then here I believe you have the option of setting the book prices. Yeah, it's similar to CreateSpace. So it takes your $39.95 here and just plugs it into here at those that exchange rate and the different countries. And you have the ability here to change these prices if you wish. Okay. All right, let's go down. All right, so it's talking about terms and conditions. This is the fun part. So it basically says it can take up to 72 hours for your book to be available for purchase on Amazon. Until then, the book status will be in review and on your bookshelf. By clicking publish and confirm that I agree to and am in compliance with the KDP terms and conditions and the KDP Print Beta Participation Agreement. Okay, so here, beta proof copies, click here to request a proof copy, which you can purchase through your Amazon cart. Now, obviously, this is a book that's already been published, so I know it's fine. However, I would encourage anyone doing this to go ahead and click on requesting a proof copy, so just to make sure that everything is okay. If you think everything is good, you're printing fine on CreateSpace, then you go ahead. It's a personal choice. It's up to you. However, if you were doing this for the first time and setting up your book, I would totally suggest and recommend that you first always get a proof copy, because you want to see how that is being printed. And if it's being printed kind of weird and you don't do a proof copy, then your customers are going to get that copy. So that's why it's really important to have a proof copy and to check it out. So I'm going to go and show you how to do a proof copy. So basically, I'm just going to open it up in a different window here. And basically what's going to happen is you have the choice. Again, this is just like CreateSpace. You only have the ability to order up to 5 proof copies at a time. So what you can do is, if you live in England or somewhere in Europe, you have the choice here of clicking one of these. And what's going to happen is it's going to end up printing your book as close as possible to whatever country you're at. And what that advantage to you is that you'll get your proof copy much faster. When you're with CreateSpace, all the proof copies, I believe, they were coming from the US. So folks who were ordering their proof copies would take a long time in the mail. So that's one of the advantages I've seen with KDP, is they've allowed this option so that you can end up getting a proof copy from different parts of the world a little faster, depending on the facilities where these books are manufactured. So basically, and then you just choose how many copies you want here, and then you go ahead and you submit the proof request, and it'll go through your cart. And basically, the cost of the book will be the author cost. So for this book, it was $4.55. So that's how much it would cost for your proof copy. And then obviously a little bit of tax and shipping would be added to that when you pay for it for total. All right. So I think we're good to go here. And I'm just going to say, go ahead and publish your paperback. Now, the one thing that I'm curious about, because this is the first time I've done this, is obviously my book is up on Amazon, and it's saying that 72 hours, it's going to take 72 hours, that it's going to be probably in review. And I guess from what I'm reading here is that it may not even be available for that amount of time. So I'm not really too worried about that, because I'm also publishing or printing with Ingram Spark, or actually Lightning Source. So I already have a feed coming in from there. So I'm assuming that even though my quote-unquote CreateSpace book disappears, there'll still be a feed coming from Ingram. At least, let me kind of explain that a little better. The Amazon listing is probably not going to go anywhere because it's taken its feed from CreateSpace. So when the feed from CreateSpace isn't there, then basically the listing will probably change. It'll probably be like, you know how it says in stock? It'll probably say unavailable or something to that effect. Now, if you're printing with another printer, like for example, Ingram Spark or Lightning Source, Amazon may see that as another channel. So your listing may not change. Your listing may stay in stock, or it may stay, or it may go to like 2 to 3 days that you can get your book, something to that effect. So this is all the first time I'm doing this, so we will find out what's going to happen. Yeah, this is fun. So I'll go ahead and publish the book. Okay. So this is the usual, at least not usual, but a similar notice you get when you publish a book on CreateSpace. You get a little window that comes up like this, and it tells you, how long it's going to take to be available. So it says, congratulations, takes 72 hours for review. And then obviously it gives you the choice to print a Kindle. All right, so I think we're good there. And then obviously you can click this right now if you want to go ahead and start Kindle, but I'm going to go ahead and close it. And basically that is it for right now. And you'll see in your interface here, the book will be here, and right now it's in review. And it's telling me what is review. It's telling me, okay, that is, your book's been submitted, it's going to take 72 hours, and so forth. So now it's just a matter of waiting and see what happens. So I'm kind of curious. I'm going to check out my book. So nothing has happened to my book right now, even though it's in review. So as you can see here, it still says in stock. But like I said, because I already am printing with Lightning Source, and its sister company is Ingram Spark, but I'm printing with Lightning Source. So there's a feed that's going into there, and Amazon is probably recognizing that, and that's probably why this book still. You know what? I'm looking at the wrong book. Okay, this is my other book. So let's just freaking go here. Yeah, I'm really smart. So let's go down here and let's look for the book, right? Okay, let's go here. Yeah, so it's basically the book is still here. So to be honest with you, I'm not sure about folks who don't have their book on another platform like Lightning Source or Ingram Spark. Um, if they're going to take your book down for sure while they review it, or if it's just going to be up there, and then this here may change. It may, instead of it being in stock, it may say book currently unavailable or something like that. And until the review is complete, then, or once it's complete, then I'm sure then that, and then you approve your book, that this in stock notice will then appear. So that's it for the training on how to transfer your book from CreateSpace to KDP Print. It's pretty, it's pretty basic, but it's a little, unfamiliar with, when you go through some of the things, and it can be kind of, you're probably a little bit nervous because you're doing this for the first time and not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure what's going to happen, what it's going to look like at the other end, but I think it'll be fine. Basically, it's hands off. It's just a simple, just transfer over. We didn't have to. Okay, so we are back in our bookshelf, and as you can see here, my book here says live. So basically, it took about 12 hours for this to happen, and actually what did happen was I got an email about 4 or 5 hours later saying something about that my book needed attention. I got an email from KDP. So I went into that email, went back into my account here, resubmitted um, or republished. Just basically what I mean by that is I just simply pushed the button again, and a couple hours later it went live. So sometimes, from what I understand, is it may not be a perfect exchange of information. So you may get a message that comes back and says, okay, you need to do this. So basically, just like you would in CreateSpace, you go back in there and look at the file and then resubmit it. Okay, so the other thought that I had that I wanted to bring up was during this whole process that you're waiting on for the transfer, I just wanted to share with you that your Amazon detail page does not disappear. I know that some folks, and probably a lot of folks, were um, hesitant in doing this because they thought maybe their Amazon page would go down or disappear. But basically what happened with my book was it was basically in stock the whole time. As I mentioned before, I'm also printing with Lightning Source. So I had a continual feed into this Amazon listing. So that I'm assuming that's probably the reason why it was still in stock. Now I'm going to assume that if you are not printing with Ingram Spark or Lightning Source and you go through this process, I assume that this message right here may change. So like I said in this previous training, once you are in the review process, this may or may not change. And if it does change, it will change to something like unavailable or book available in 2 to 3 days or something to that effect. So don't worry, your page will not be pulled. It will still be there. It's just you may have a notice there just kind of giving a status of what's going on. There was some talk, I guess sometime back, that KDP and or CreateSpace were no longer accepting HTML and book descriptions. But that was never the case. In my experience, I've found that different variations of HTML has been used, and that a lot of that was not recommended by Amazon, and so those variations of HTML may not work. But there is a limited amount of HTML that you can use, and they do recommend it. So like line breaks, paragraph breaks, bold or strong code, or code for italics, or code for bullet points. those are specifically what are recommended by Amazon, and those will for sure work. So for example, if you remember when I was setting up my book, I didn't know if the HTML would show up. Well, so I'm just scrolling down here, and if you look at my book description, you can see the book description HTML showing up. I can pretty it up some more if I wanted to. I can throw some bullet points in there, which I probably will do later. So I just wanted to basically show you that the HTML definitely works. Let's go through a couple other things here before we kind of wrap this up. If you wanted to basically print author copies, so let's say you want to go, you have a speaking gig or something. I gotta log in again, so I'm going to do that. And so you want to, let's say you want to print off, 100 books or so. Basically, this gives you the option to plug in, however many books you want here. Put in 100. You can basically put up to 999 units here. And then what you would do is you'd pick your marketplace. So whatever region you're at, basically you want to pick the one that's closest to you. So if you're in the UK, go ahead and pick co.uk and then put in the quantity, and then go ahead and submit your order, and it'll go through your Amazon cart. If you're in Europe somewhere, like near France or Spain or whatever, you can pick one of these. So what's going to happen is your proof copy, rather than it coming straight from the United States, because it would take a long time, now you can choose your manufacturer that's hopefully closer to you, and you'll get, I said proof, but you'll get your author copies faster. All right, so let's go back to the bookshelf here. And I just want to show, now this was the biggest thing that I've really seen that this is a benefit to using KDP Print. So for folks who wanted to do AMS ads, Amazon ads, and had CreateSpace Books, for the most part, they could not do ads if they had a CreateSpace book. Well, what do you know? This book is now active in KDP Print, and what do we have here? Promote and advertise. Boom. So what this is going to do is it's going to give you the ability to create an ad campaign on Amazon. So I'm telling you, this is a really big benefit to those folks who had CreateSpace Books and could not use AMS. They can only use this AMS for Kindle books. So now I'll just click on here. So this one here is for Kindle ads. Here you click it for your print book, and it'll show whatever books are active, whatever print books are active in your account, it will populate into here. And then you just go ahead and then just start creating your campaign. So very, very cool. I know a lot of folks that really were disappointed that they could not use AMS for the print books if they were using CreateSpace. Well, that's no longer the case. If you are using KDP Print, you now will be able to run sponsored ads through AMS. All right, so that's that. I wanted to really talk about that. Let's go back here. Let's see what else. I think that was pretty much what I wanted to talk about. That was really important. And yeah, so you have these choices here to go into your book if you want to make some changes to your book description or whatever. So I think that's pretty much it for now. I'm going to assume that there's going to be lots of questions about the KDP Print platform and further questions on how to transfer from CreateSpace and actually how to print through this platform. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've created a group on Facebook, and this Facebook group is called Mastering Amazon's KDP Print Platform. You can go ahead and type that into the search bar at the top of Facebook, or you can type in the whole URL here, which is a redirect. So it's http://www.ericvanderhoop.com/mastering-kdp-print-platform. And that'll basically redirect you directly to the Facebook group. Or as I said, you can actually type in the Facebook name, Mastering Amazon's KDP Print Platform. So I hope you enjoyed the training today, and I wish you all the success in your publishing journey. Thanks.